Before Anna Nicole Smith would become a Playboy centerfold, a reality star, a pop culture socialite, then only to lose her life at a tragically young age, she was born Vickie Lynn Hogan in Mexia, Texas on November 28, 1967. Now in the past, Anna's childhood and upbringing, it's been painted as one that was extremely difficult. Not only was her mother, Virgie Hogan, described as forthright and extremely strict, Anna claims she grew up in poverty and had to work several low-paying jobs, including stints at Wal-Mart, Red Lobster, and a fried chicken joint before she found fame.
No inspiration because we had nothing in Mexia. We didn't have a bowling alley, we didn't have agencies, we didn't have anything.
Now, just how true those claims are have recently been thrown into question, especially the allegations involving her mother. Now, multiple sources that were interviewed for the upcoming Netflix documentary, Anna Nicole Smith, You Don't Know Me, they suggest that not only was Anna not as dirt poor as she always claimed, but her mother was a retired police officer who was a sweet woman that loved her daughter and tried to keep her out of trouble. One thing that is true is that Anna, she grew up not knowing her biological father, and in this documentary, she meets up with her long-lost father. Now, she blamed his absence on Virgie, and like many fatherless children, she idealized her father in her imagination, believing that he must be thinking about her as much as she was thinking about him. Now, it's also true that Anna, she began working at Jim's Crispy Fried Chicken in her hometown at the age of just 14. Now, just prior to that, Anna, she had dropped out of high school, and she eventually fell in love with the restaurant's fry cook, a man by the name of Billy Smith. And that guy was rocking a mustache he should have shaved off. Now, Anna and Billy, they got married at the age of 17 and 16, respectfully, back in 1985. Now, they had one child together, Daniel Wayne Smith, who was born in January of 1986. Now, Anna, she formerly told the Daily Mail about Billy. He drove me crazy. I chased him and chased him the way young girls do until I finally got him and married him. By then, of course, I wasn't interested. A year later, Anna and Billy, they separated before officially divorcing in 1993. Now, since then, Billy, he has led an extremely private life, and the only time he's been seen publicly was at his son's memorial in 2007. Now, following the separation, Anna returned to Texas, or specifically to Houston. Now, at the time, she was still naive, she was flat-chested, and, a bit physically awkward. Now, she also couldn't dance. Not a lick. She couldn't dance to save her life. Now, that's not exactly a great turn of events, considering she was getting ready to start her career at an adult strip club known as Gigi's. Luckily for Anna, she met a woman named Missy Byram, who would go on to become Anna's lifelong friend, and potentially, from this documentary, a whole lot more than that. Now, Missy, she took Anna under her wing, teaching her everything she knew about dancing and stripping, including how to get bucks out of male patrons. But there were two things Missy never had to instruct Anna on, and she explains in the documentary, no one needed to give her pointers on how to attract a man. She knew what she was doing. She also didn't need any help at manipulating anybody. She was better at it than me. Speaking of men, in 1988, Anna met J. Howard Marshall while performing at the aforementioned strip club. Now, 3 years later, Howard, he returned and began pursuing Anna with relish. Now, he invited her out to lunch, and the next day, he reportedly gave her $1,000 during their date. Now, afterwards, she quit her job at Gigi's, and she began her journey towards becoming a celebrity. After entering into a relationship with Howard Marshall, Anna Nicole Smith, she would find fame being featured in the March 1992 edition of Playboy magazine under the name of Vickie Smith. 2 months later, she was being named the Playmate of the Month. Now, from there, her fame had continued to spread far and wide thanks to a serendipitous appearance in a Guess Jeans ad after the model Claudia Schiffer, she was forced to cancel. Anna swept in, and now she was a bona fide star. It was during that campaign that she adopted the name of Anna Nicole Smith for the very first time. Now, a few short months later, she was appearing in GQ, Marie Claire, and being named the Playmate of the Year for 1993. Then in June of 1994, Anna, she married Howard Marshall in a service in Houston, but according to sources that spoke to People magazine, Anna almost immediately left her husband behind at home following the ceremony so that she could fly off to vacation in Greece without him. Now, the pair would continue to be married until Howard's passing just 18 months later, but they rarely spent time with one another. Now, instead, Anna, she often stayed in Los Angeles, while Howard, he resided in Houston, but that didn't stop her from spending all his money. Now, in a deposition that Marshall's son would give following his father's passing, he alleged that Howard gifted Anna $100,000 a month, neither cash or gifts. Now, she was also accused accused of racking up a $2 million bill on his Platinum American Express in a single shopping trip. Now, ever since their wedding, and especially the long-lasting legal battle over his $1.6 billion estate, well, Anna has been painted as a gold digger more in love with the money than she was the man she married. But come on, I think anyone looking in knows that was a deal the two agreed on. The subsequent legal battle following his passing, well, it lasted for over 15 years. 4 years later, after Anna's own death, and in the end, well, the Supreme Court, they decided that Anna's estate, it wouldn't get a penny from Howard's family. The truth is that their marriage, it was no doubt complicated. Now, many of their friends, they still believe this to this day, that Anna loved Howard very much, despite the age difference. There exist home movies of the couple which show a happy, if not untraditional family. On top of this, there are audio files of their phone calls sometimes where they depict a worried husband trying to reach his wife, a woman too tired or annoyed, well, to answer as many questions. The man did seem sweet though, however. In short, everyone's life is a series of contradictions. Now, if you look deep enough, and Anna was no different, but she did in her own way, I believe, love Howard. I mean, he gave her the security no one else would offer. And on top of that, she clearly loved his money as well. Now, when it comes to his estate, well, no one knows exactly what Howard had promised her, but Anna was definitely of the opinion that half of it should be hers. Now, in the 90s and into the early aughts, well, Anna, she turned her court battles, her drug addiction, and her dramatic weight fluctuation into tabloid fodder. And later, E!, the reality television series, well, it was launched with the Anna Nicole Show. Now, during this period, well, Anna became little more than a character of herself. Now, as for the substance abuse issues, her friends believe that, well, they started after Anna's breast enhancement surgeries when she was prescribed opiates to combat the pain. Now, not only did some of those implants get infected and implode throughout the years, but Anna was also dealing with chronic back pain, and she would consume a cocktail of painkillers hours before every red carpet. Now, during her final years, well, Anna's life spiraled out of control. Now, she was deeply hurt by the criticism regarding her weight, and September of 2006, well, she fled Los Angeles to live in the Bahamas, where she gave birth to her daughter, Daniel Lynn. Now, according to the documentary, well, Anna, she chose the Bahamas to keep her daughter's biological father, which is Larry Burkhead, out of the picture. Now, Bahamian law, well, it stipulates that whoever signs a child's birth certificate, it is in fact the child's legal father. So Anna, she had her lawyer and then lover, Howard K. Stern, well, he signed that document. Now, this kicked off a lengthy paternity suit that eventually revealed through DNA evidence that Larry was indeed Danny Lynn's father. Now, as if that drama wasn't enough, well, 3 days later, while visiting his mother and baby sister at the hospital, well, Anna's son Daniel died of a drug overdose, an accidental result of the interaction of antidepressants and methadone. Now, Daniel's death, it devastated Anna, and she needed more drugs than ever to numb the pain. Now, 4 months later, well, Anna died of a prescription drug overdose, with a medical examiner finding traces of muscle relaxants, methadone, anti-anxiety medications, and the potent sedative known as chloral hydrate, all within her system. Now, an investigation was opened into her death, and many of her doctors, as well as Stern, well, they were questioned, but no one was charged, and her death, well, it was ruled an accident. Now, outside of the shocking revelation about how Anna Nicole Smith might have mythologized her tragic childhood in the hopes of capitalizing on the marketing potential of a sad origin story, well, there have been a few more bombshells that have emerged in regards to Anna's life, which came out in this Netflix documentary. Now, for starters, well, according to many of her friends, well, Anna's sexuality was fluid, and she was actually bisexual. In fact, Anna's friend, Missy Byram, well, she reveals in the new documentary that outside of taking Anna under her wing, well, she also invited Smith into her bed. Now, Missy is under the impression that she was not Anna's first female lover, and as the two became closer, well, she moved in with Anna at the farmhouse Howard had bought for Smith, which was in the early 90s. Now, if you want to know more about the real estate that Anna had lived in, my wife has a separate channel, Famous Entertainment, where she details celebrity real estate, so check it out. Now, Missy also helped raise Daniel, and the two women, apparently they fell in love. In fact, Missy says that Anna, she even proposed to her in 1993, and they got married in a non-legally binding ceremony in the backyard with only the housekeeper in attendance. Now, as much as she might have loved her, well, Missy says she always knew that the relationship wasn't meant to last because Anna, she needed more love than any single person could even give her. Now, eventually, Missy, she walked away from Smith with her substance abuse issues, when they began to spiral. Now, it's a sad story, but not nearly as sad as what happened when Anna finally met her birth father. I'm talking about Donald. Yeah. Now, after establishing herself in Hollywood, working with Playboy and guests, well, Anna used her money to hire a private investigator to track down her father, and she flew both him and her biological brother out to California to meet her. Now, this meeting, it took place in 1993, the same year Anna had been named the Playmate of the Year. Now, during the reunion, Will Smith, he brought her father and her brother to the Playboy Mansion to attend a party that Hugh Hefner threw in her honor. But Donald, he wasn't anything like Anna imagined he might be. He was actually, in fact, much worse. Now, Donnie, he tried to warn his sister about, what their father was really like, warning her that she shouldn't feel safe. It turns out that Donnie, he had previously pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting Anna's aunt, and that was when she was a child, as well as he also did this with an underage girl, and he spent 6 months in prison for those offenses. Yikes. Now, it's unclear if Anna knew about these crimes that her father committed, but one thing that's obvious is that Donald didn't learn a thing from the time he spent inside. Now, after he and Donnie left California to return home, well, Anna was uncharacteristically quiet, and when Missy asked her what was wrong, well, Anna dropped a bombshell. Her father, he'd actually tried to sleep with her. Ugh. Now, taking that particular revelation into consideration, well, it's even less a surprise that Anna Nicole Smith's life, it played out the way that it did. Now, during the short 39 years she spent on this earth, well, she witnessed firsthand the best and worst that this planet has to offer, and it ultimately proved to be too much, as it would have been for, well, damn near anyone. I mean, she was like Paris Hilton before Paris Hilton, but coming from nothing. No, Paris came from a lot, and Anna used this old man's money to fleece Hollywood, and look where it got her. Anyway, here's to hoping that Anna Nicole Smith has finally found peace in the afterlife, joined by her son Daniel, and that she's able to watch from above as her daughter has grown into a beautiful woman that physically resembles her in so many ways. And with that, well, I'm gonna bring this video to an end. This has been Before They Were Gone. And before I leave you guys, I do have a question for you. Where were you when you heard that Anna Nicole Smith had died? 1993, my God. I can't remember. I remember when Princess Diana died. I remember this being in the tabloids, but I do not recall where I was. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. As we do recently, we're gonna tag on a previous upload to the end of this one. So why don't we take a look back at the passing of, let's say, Marilyn Monroe. I filmed these videos way back in the day, but it's a fitting tribute. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll find something interesting in there, and I'll see you guys in that video. Skinnier me as well.